For the Love of Money. Do y'all remember that song, For the Love of Money by Bone Thugs and Harmony? That's literally the song that I kept hearing playing in my head over and over again. Not the entire song, but just the hook where the woman is singing for the love of money. From what I can remember, because I haven't listened to that song in so many years, but from what I can remember, I want to say that song, I don't think that song has any relevance to this dream, but I probably should have listened to it before I started recording just to see if there was any, even if like just one line, if there was anything that would have been relevant. But from what I'm remembering the song was about, I'm going to go ahead and say that it wasn't, right? Now, I had this dream back in July, on July 13th to be exact. And I remember I woke up literally like a few minutes after midnight on the 14th, and I recorded this in my dream journal. And I was going to make a video about it like right away, but I thought against it for two reasons. For one, because of the current climate that we're in when it comes to dating and gender roles and the stigma on income, I thought that it wouldn't be well perceived. And while I didn't care so much about that aspect, the second reason why I didn't want to release it is because y'all know like financial abuse is a thing, right? Like we talk about physical, mental, emotional, sexual abuse, but we don't really talk about financial abuse as much. And I didn't want someone who is either in a situation or someone to meet someone who puts them in a situation where they are being financially abused, especially if it's with their own money. And I'll get into what I mean by that in a second. But I didn't want someone to look at that as being like okay and look at that as being like they're being taken care of when really they're being financially abused, right? But either way, I don't know why, but this dream kept coming back up heavy this week. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. I'm gonna go ahead and record it, and I'm gonna go ahead and release it, and it is what it is. So let's get into it. So in this dream, it is a divine feminine and a divine masculine, and they are moving into a 3-bedroom apartment in Crystal, Canada. I'm not even sure if this is a real place, right? This dream was very long. It's like paragraphs long, but I'm going to go ahead and give you guys the cliff notes, right? I don't know if Crystal, Canada is a real place, but something about Crystal and Canada, right? But anyways, in this dream, this divine masculine is working a job where he has to move. I don't know if he's military or what, but he works a job where he has to move. They have to change locations. So divine feminine is they move to Crystal, Canada. They get this apartment that is literally on the same street as a university. So divine feminine is hey, I've been wanting to go back to school for a while. Since we're going to be here for a couple of years, now would be the perfect time. So she ends up walking down to the local university. Like I said, in my dreams, it'll be months, days, sometimes years that go by. So even though it seems like she's walking and all of a sudden she's doing all this same day, this is time has elapsed, right? There's no real concept of time in my dreams, right? Sometimes I'm given very specific timelines. But anyways, in this dream, she goes down to the local university. She ends up enrolling, and she ends up finding out that they have this contract, right? The university has grown. Enrollment has grown significantly. And although they have housing on campus, they don't have enough housing. It was something where they have housing, or because I put limited housing. So I can't remember if it was just they had housing, but it wasn't enough, or if they were in the process of expanding. But in the dream, it was a local university. What most people would consider a community college, but it was a local college that ended up expanding into a university. So maybe originally they didn't have housing. But either way, they ended up expanding into a university, and now they had all this enrollment. they had all these numbers of enrollment, and some of the students needed housing, and they didn't have enough to accompany everybody, right? So they ended up getting on contracts with there were 4 local apartment complexes that were right there within walking distance, that were within safe walking distance to the university. So the university had contracts with these apartment complexes to say, hey, if you set aside housing for our students, if you let our students move in, we I don't know what the terms of the contract were, but either way, the students who enrolled, who needed housing, if they went down to the local apartment complexes, the apartments would rent for them at a discounted rate. They had student rates. So divine feminine and divine masculine are moving into this 3-bedroom, where actually they're already in the 3-bed. At this point, they're already in the 3-bedroom. She gets enrolled in school. She goes to the university and picks up this pink and yellow slip that the university fills out, and she has to put on her information. And she's taking it back to the apartment complex so that she can get the student rate. Now, the thing is this is a Friday, which is weird because today is Friday, right? This is a Friday, and on Fridays, the apartment complex closes at noon. And what they're trying to do is there's a 4-bedroom unit that has come available, and they want to upgrade to the 4-bedroom. And Divine Feminine tells Divine Masculine, hey, with the student discount rate, we can upgrade to the 4-bedroom, and we can get it at the price of the 3-bedroom. So why not, right? And because Divine Masculine has a legit job, they qualify with the income and everything, so it's not going to be an issue. So they agree to it. So they're trying to go to the office before they close so they can put in an application for the new unit before someone else gets it. Now, first of all, the reason why they have a 3-bedroom is one, Divine Masculine has a home office. He needs a home office. His job sometimes allows him to work from home. So he has his home office for the days that he works from home. Now, the 3rd bedroom is actually a nursery. Divine Feminine and Divine Masculine are trying for a child. They are trying to conceive a child. And Divine Feminine, of course, being a clairvoyant, knows that although she's not pregnant yet, it's coming soon. So she's already decorated, got the crib and everything for the nursery for this child that they are trying to conceive. Now, the reason why they need a fourth bedroom is because Divine Feminine's sister and her niece, Divine Feminine's sister is a single mom. She has a child. They become homeless. You know, something happens within her home life that's not really explained. She becomes homeless and she needs a place to stay for a while till she gets back on her feet. So Divine Feminine, Divine Masculine are like, yeah, sure, you know, we'll upgrade. You can come stay with us. It's no problem. Now, Divine Masculine is like, look, they can come, but, you know, they are not allowed in my home office. That is my space. I don't want any children playing around in there. My space is off limits. And then Divine Feminine is like, that's fine. We can totally agree to that. The nursery is off limits. I know we don't have a child yet, but it's coming, and I don't want to give up that room. So then they decide to upgrade to the fourth bedroom. Now, another thing, Divine Feminine's, her place is spotless, right? There was something that was given, just slight background. Now, the background about Divine Masculine, he came from a loving 2-parent household, right? Divine Feminine came from, I don't know if her parents were divorced or not, but there was something about like them being hoarders. Like she grew up in a house that was extremely like dirty, nasty, and filthy. So, you know, as an adult, she got this thing where like everything, like almost OCD, right? Where everything had to be spotless. Everything had a place and it needed to be in its place, right? And if it was out of its place, the house was dirty, even if everything else was where it was supposed to be. She was like OCD, right? Now, Divine Masculine actually loved this. He loved that Divine Feminine kept the house so clean. He loved that Divine Feminine took pride in keeping a clean home. Something about, he was like coming home to a clean home. The energy, it just made the energy feel so pure. And he loved that. He said he felt like every time he walked through the door, he literally said he felt like he left his troubles at the door. Because he said he felt like every time he came through the door, it was like just this relaxing, peaceful, calm environment just because of how clean Divine Feminine kept their home. Now, that becomes important because when the sister moves in, unfortunately, she has some of the habits of the parent. So the sister moves in and it's like the sister and the child are eating and they're leaving trash everywhere, bottles like juice, food wrappers everywhere. And Divine Feminine, like, she's trying to clean up and keep it clean, but it's almost like they're doing this intentionally, right? Because it's like if you're at someone's home, and this was a Divine Feminine, unfortunately, who like wasn't speaking up for herself. But you don't have to worry because Divine Masculine, when he came home, he was going to take care of all of that. But we'll get to that later. I'm so proud of this Divine Masculine. But we'll get to that later, right? So Divine Feminine, unfortunately, was at a place where she wasn't speaking up for herself. So they're like tearing up her house and she's like walking behind them cleaning, and like they see her doing it, like the child so much. I don't blame, but the sister sees her doing it and doesn't make an effort to try to help, or at least try to be a little bit more tidy. So Divine Feminine gets frustrated. She gets extremely frustrated. She gets in her car and she goes for a ride. She's like, I have to go for a drive. I have to get out of here. I have to clear my mind. The clutter was really starting to affect her mentally, right? So she's driving and she parks somewhere and she goes in her trunk and finds this old piccolo. Yeah, have y'all ever it's like a flute, but like a much smaller one. So she finds this old piccolo. She used to be in the band back in the day. I don't know if she was in the band in college or high school. I don't even know if she has a prior degree or this is her first time going to school. I don't know. No. I'm sorry. She was going for a graduate degree. So she was already in school. Yes, she was going to school for a graduate degree. So she already had a bachelor's. So I don't know if she played music in high school, middle school, college, or what, but I feel like it had to have been more recent just based off the fact that she was driving around with a piccolo in her trunk in the first place. But she tries it, she, gets it out, she's sitting in the parking lot somewhere, and she just starts like playing to try to take her mind off it. And something about the piccolo was broken, like a piece of it was broken, but it was still in really good condition. So she starts playing, and as she starts playing, she kind of goes into like this trance, right? Where she starts to thinking about Divine Masculine, and she starts thinking about like this dream, it got a little sexual, right? And I don't really particularly care for the sexual type dreams, right? But anyways, she starts thinking about Divine Masculine, how much she loves him, how much he loves her, how much they really care about each other. She starts thinking about how much she really enjoys their intimate life. She starts thinking about how much, like, not only does she love him, but like she craves him, and they have a very, very, very healthy sex life. And she's thinking about this heavy, right? So in the midst of her thinking about this, she has this flashback where I don't know where this came from, right? But she has this flashback of one of their times where they're being intimate. And he's telling her that she's not opening up enough. And like specifically, he was talking about her legs. But when she mentions it, she's thinking like, or she's remembering him saying, you're not opening up enough. And in her mind, she's like back in present day, she's thinking like, or at the time she's thinking, my legs don't open any further. So I don't know what you're talking about. But now like present day, she's thinking, and she's realizing like when I don't know if this is like a Divine Masculine that likes to talk, or like he likes to be open and try to have like deep conversation when you guys are being intimate, because some people are like that, right? Now that she's thinking about it present day, she's like, maybe he's saying that I'm not open enough. Maybe he's saying that like I'm too closed off. But anyways, she's thinking about that. And she ends up being in deep thought about it for a while. And there's something about her thinking about, well, maybe her not being open enough is what's preventing them from being pregnant. right? Excuse me, y'all. See, my throat always does this when I go to make these videos. Every single time. But anyways, she starts thinking about, well, maybe me not being open enough is what's keeping us from conceiving. Either way, she's sitting there, she's thinking, she's in deep thought, and she starts thinking about ordering new furniture, right? She starts thinking about, she was like, now that her sister is there, she doesn't like her sister is trashing the house. Her sister has brought like this very, very, very negative energy into the home, and she doesn't like it. She doesn't like it. She doesn't like the feel of it. Her home doesn't feel like her home anymore. And because energy tends to attach itself to things, she felt something about the furniture now carrying a negative energy, right? So she wants to order all new furniture. And for some reason, she's like nervous about talking to Divine Masculine about this. And in her mind, she's like, I don't know why. Cause she's thinking if I tell him, he's going to be like, no, something about the furniture that they got from Wayfair. I don't know why I'm hearing Wayfair. It's just what I need. Anyways, it's still nice. It's still in, like I said, because she's so clean and she takes care of her things. The furniture is still nice. It's clean. It's in great condition. But now she doesn't want it because it carries a negative energy. And she's like, I'm nervous to talk to him. But she's like, I don't know why I'm nervous to talk to him. Like, he'll understand. Divine Masculine knows how highly spiritual Divine Feminine is. He knows that she has spiritual gifts. He knows that it's real. And he's very supportive of her. He is very, very, very supportive of her. And now she's thinking, this is another reason why I love this man so much, right? So she's like, he'll understand. And then on top of that, they both make really good money. So in the dream, it wasn't told specifically how much they make, only because I wasn't told specifically how much Divine Masculine makes. In the dream, I remember her thinking, I know we make well over $10,000 a month. And she knows this because Divine Feminine alone makes $8,000. Like I said, I don't know what she does. She apparently has enough freedom to still go back to school. But whatever Divine Feminine does for a living, she alone makes $8,000. And for some reason, I'm getting like, now that I say it, I'm getting like they make $12,000. Like maybe she makes $8,000 and he makes $4,000. But in the dream, it was just specifically told that they make over $10,000 a month, right? And even as she's thinking about it, she's thinking, I wonder how much we really bring in, because she doesn't know exactly how much that he makes. And in this instance, this is not a financial abuse thing. This is like one of those things where Divine Masculine handles all of the finances because that's the way that she wants it. This is, y'all, I like to keep from laughing. This is like a Divine Feminine that although she makes, I keep hearing like the song Got a Lot of Money by, who was it, from Crime Mob? Anyways, even though she makes a lot of money, she hates being responsible for the bills and for the finances. Like, I'm literally seeing a woman sitting at the table crying because she has to pay bills, even though she has it in her account. And part of me is like, I understand the frustration because I hate having to pay bills. It's like, didn't I just pay this? Now the next month roll around and you got to do it all over again. Like, this Divine Feminine hates having to take care of the finances. So even though she makes twice as much, is what Divine Masculine makes, she is more than happy to let him take care of everything. And he does. This is a Divine Masculine who is financially responsible. He is financially literate. He makes good decisions, and he makes sure that the both of them are well taken care of. He makes sure that Divine Feminine is well taken care of, right? And this is also a Divine Feminine that's a little bit immature with her spending. So having him be the one to take care of everything, it works. Right? It works. It works for everybody. So she knows that, they have plenty of money. And she also knows like that, the furniture that she wants to order is not going to be extremely expensive. But more so than that, she knows that this Divine Masculine wants her to be happy, right? He wants her to be happy. Like, yes, he controls the spending. Yes, he's over the finances, but he still gives her the freedom and allows her to do whatever it is that makes her happy, right? And I know, like, maybe allow might be a bit of a strong word. I'm like, what do you mean allow? I'm saying, like, when it comes to the money, even though, like, he's the one that's over it and he's controlling how much is going out, he still gives her the freedom to spend whatever she wants, as long as, like, she's not spending them into the hole. Like, if she's not going to be responsible with her spending, someone has to be, right? So although he controls the money, like I said, he still allows her to do whatever she needs to do, to make her happy. So Divine Feminine is trying to like decide when and where to have this conversation, and she's in such deep thought that like it gets late. So now she's realizing, oh crap, I've been gone for hours. It's dark outside. Let me go ahead and get home. Now on the drive home, she's thinking, she's gone from being in this state of bliss to now being in this state of frustration again, because she's like, crap, now I've been gone all day. I was only supposed to take a drive to relax. I've been out all day. I've been out for hours. She already knows. Like I said, she's an intuitive. She already knows when she gets back home, her home is going to be destroyed. It's going to be destroyed. So it's like she's driving and she's getting like frustrated to the point of tears on the way back, because now she's like, crap, like me and Divine Masculine, in this dream, they're married, right? Her and Divine Masculine, they have this routine. He comes, like, she keeps the house clean. She cooks. So when he comes home, like, dinner is ready or it's almost ready. She's getting the table set and all that. They have this routine. So now she's rushing home and she's like, crap, he's going to get home. She's like, I could probably beat him home, but she's like, the house is going to be destroyed. I haven't even started dinner yet. She's like, my sister is not only destroying my house, she's destroying our whole routine. Like, no, it's not working, right? It's not working. So then she's like, well, maybe I can convince divine masculine that we can go out tonight. But she was like, this is not going to work. Like we can go out tonight. Like he'll be fine with that, but we can't go out every night. So she was like, something's going to have to change. So she starts thinking about, okay, divine masculine and I, we have to have a conversation. And like I said, this is divine masculine that when I tell y'all, like, this man takes care of business, this is like so attractive to me, because when it comes to like, let me finish the drink. This is a divine masculine that takes care of business, right? And this, like I said, this is so attractive to me. So they're, he gets home and they're talking and she's telling him like, this doesn't feel like home anymore. And I want to order new furniture. I want a new space and all that. And now this is, the sister gets there before they upgrade to the 4-bedroom apartment. So divine masculine ends up saying like, hey, like, we tried to help out, she needs to go back with y'all's parents, or she needs to go, I don't know if she was there previously, she needs to go with y'all's parents. I know it's not the best environment for a child, seeing that like the house is really nasty and your parents are hoarders, but he was like, but she can't stay here if she's going to disrupt the energy in our home, and if she's going to be destroying our home, like she's a grown woman. Like, no. He was like, if you don't want to say anything, he was like, I'll take the blame for it, like I'll be the one to say it. And he was like, we need to go ahead and move. And he was like, I 100% support you getting all new furniture and getting rid of all of this. If you felt like the energy has changed, we need to move and just start over. So they end up getting their new apartment and getting all new furniture, and divine masculine is basically telling like divine feminine, they're basically telling each other like, we have worked so hard to get to where we are. We're not, it's something about like, I don't know if they have like a rocky past, because divine feminine, like, she says specifically like divine masculine, this is like her inner monologue, I guess you'll say. She's like, divine masculine and I worked so hard to get where we are. And I put all this in quotations. We are financially successful, yes, but it's more than that. We are finally together and we are truly happy and we are starting a family. I'm not going to risk losing this. Someone or something has to go. With the someone being her sister, and the something now being the house full of furniture that they have to get rid of because of the negative energy that the sister has attached to it, right? So when I tell y'all, this dream was so beautiful to me, for one, because divine feminine was so pure. Like, her energy was so pure. Like, when I tell y'all, when they say like love is about like servitude, right? This divine feminine took care of her home, right? And not only that, she took care of her husband, and in return, her husband took care of her. Like, everybody played to their strengths. Like, this divine masculine was a provider. And I know there are going to be some people going to be like, well, he wasn't the provider, she was the provider, because she was the one making more money. It doesn't matter if she was the one making more money. It doesn't matter how much money you make if you're spinning yourself into a hole. Right? It does not matter how much money you make if you cannot control your finances. This divine masculine may have made half or less than what she was making, but he was most definitely the provider in this situation, because he was the one who made sure they had everything that they needed. And not only that, he still made sure that she had everything that she wanted as well. And in return, she took care of him. She cooked, she cleaned. She was emotionally supportive of him. He was emotionally supportive. This is like one of those when I say like the energy is reciprocated, but at the same time, like everybody plays to their strengths. The connection was beautiful. And the way that they stuck together, the way that he was willing to speak up, or the way that he spoke up when she couldn't or when she wouldn't, right? The dynamic in this relationship was so beautiful. I just want to say, like, to a divine feminine, if you meet a man that literally checks all of your boxes, but the only box he doesn't check is that he doesn't make as much money as you, I wouldn't throw that man away because of that. I would not throw that man away because of that. Now, when I started off this, I said that there was a reason why I didn't post this originally, and it was because of the whole financial abuse aspect. Now, if you are I don't care if you're a man or a woman, really, because divine feminine, divine masculine is not genders, it's energies, right? But if you are anyone and you live in a dynamic where you make majority of the money and the other person controls it, but they're buying all the things that they want to buy, they're doing all the things that they want to do, they're not being financially responsible with the bills, and they're just keeping you from accessing your own money, that's financial abuse. That's not the same thing. If that is what the dynamics is in your relationship, this is not for you, because that's not what that is. This is a divine masculine that even if divine feminine wasn't working, he was still a provider. They just wouldn't be able to buy or be where they are. They would have to, like, of course, downgrade. But this is divine masculine that is a provider, regardless of what divine feminine brings to the table. And provider is more about, it's more than just what you have, right? It's more than just about the physical. It's his mindset, right? His mindset. A provider and a protector, right? He was not going to let anyone come into his home and destroy the foundation of what him and this divine feminine built. And like the love that they had for each other, y'all, it almost makes me want to cry, because it was so beautiful and it was so pure. The way that both of them loved each other, the way that both of them understood each other, the way that both of them, when they spoke, they were listening to understand and not just to respond. They really had a true, deep understanding of one another. It was so beautiful. And I want this, like, any divine feminine out there that is like, where is my divine masculine? When is he coming? Where is he? How am I going to know when I meet him? Spirit is saying because there's going to be something about him wanting to understand you. Like, not when you guys are talking, like, yes, especially like if this is something like this is not someone from your past, or even if it is someone from your past coming back, but probably more so if it's somebody new. Spirit is like, you're going to know this person is for you, or this is the one, when they don't just want to learn things about you. Like, they're not just interested in like getting to know you and wanting to know your history. They want to truly understand you. Like, they want to understand you as a person. That's how you're going to know that. And it's, y'all, it is so beautiful. It is so beautiful. And I love this for divine feminine, and I love this and also for divine masculine. I'm sorry, for divine, I'm sorry, I tend to lean into divine feminine a little bit more because like I resonate with that energy more. But also to the divine masculine, you know, you're going to know she's the one when she's not someone who's just after you for what you can provide for her, but she wants to understand you, and she wants to take, just like divine masculine wants to take care of divine feminine, this divine feminine also wants to take care of, like this, these two took care of each other. And I've never, well, that I can remember, I won't say never, but I have not been able to remember a dream yet where the energy and the love was this pure. So like divine feminine, I have to ask, right? I have to ask because the reason, one of the reasons, like the bigger one was because of the financial abuse aspect. But one of the reasons why I didn't want to release this is because I felt like a lot of divine feminine, especially if they're in the situation where they make a significant amount of money, I feel like you're allowing that to overshadow, or you're allowing that to limit your dating pool. So like divine feminine, I really have to ask, like, do you want love, or do you just want to hold on to your money? And what would you do if I told you there was a way that you could have both? Anyways, as always, y'all, if you made it this far, thank you for listening. Bye.